that he was really not interested in details, incurious.
Was he jealous of Jeb?
A lot of things you hear, I think they're real. I know people who were in meetings with him, every week, and they said the same thing.
You know what? You know what? I hate to be a dick, but I'm almost going to turn into a George W. Bush fan now, because from the bullet points that Tucker just said, he's exactly like me. He's very insecure, Brent. The reason why I do so well is because I surround myself around guys like yourself. I'm the first to admit that. I got issues with my real father. I can be the president of the United States.
Well, one thing I took away from that.
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons Bush got elected, because he seemed like a pretty normal guy.
Well, yeah,
I covered that campaign in '99 and 2000.
And Brady doesn't pay attention to details.
Very popular with the press.
You see what happens.
And you know what? Screw you, Manson.
And in Iran in the West, there's a documentary on the National Geographic Channel. It's everybody in their own words. Putin is on there. John Bolton is on there. It's everybody in their own words. And not just Bush, but Clinton before him, and going all the way back to 1953. We could not have screwed up our relationship with Iran more on our end than we actually did. And I encourage anybody to watch it, because
what's it called?
It's called Iran in the West, and it's on the National Geographic Channel. And these people tell the story in their own words. And even John Bolton on there admits that we've been...
Is that Michael Bolton's dad?
No, it was the guy with the Key West butt tickler that was the ambassador of the UN.
Dock of the Bay.
Like, he came in and read it, and he was directed to do it.
Right.
Like, the Europeans had a deal struck with Iran, and they came to the United States and said, listen, without you, we can't get this done.
Tucker, in your opinion, man, in your lifetime, since you've been alive since, 1968? 69? Who has been the greatest president? Don't be cliche-ish and say Rappin' Ronnie Reagan.
Well, I don't know. I'm not any kind of Reagan worshiper, but who was better than Reagan during that?
Since then, yeah, nobody really.
Rappin' Ronnie Reagan. I don't know if it was timing or just Hollywood or he's all shined up or what. But
he had
I like Teddy Roosevelt is my all-time favorite president.
Let me do you one different then. Since you've been alive since 1969, which would have been encompassed what? Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Clinton.
No, H.W. Bush.
H.W., Clinton, W., and Barack. Who's been the worst president? Who will go down in those 40-some years? Who will go down as the worst, and why?
Well, I mean, obviously Jimmy Carter will go down as the worst because he was incompetent and sanctimonious and incredibly annoying, and he was president at a time of a lack of, a collapse in American confidence, and people just hated him. But the worst president will be, without question, Barack Obama, because Obama is the most ambitious. Obama is doing things that will have ramifications for decades. Obama is a good guy.
And George W. Bush didn't do things that will have ramifications for decades?
Oh, I would say Bush is probably number 2 on there. It's just that Bush didn't have the luxury of, total control over everything. I mean, the Democrats were out of power, but they had a pretty effective resistance to Bush.
Well, plus it seems to me that Bush ran out of time in the right amount of time. You know what I mean? Like, he did enough damage to where all of a sudden his time was up and he was able to scoot out of it and leave it to somebody else.
I need 16 years, 4 more to get this stuff done. I still got some stuff.
Well, Bush just got so unpopular he couldn't really do anything after a while, right? But Obama is, considered Jesus by a lot of people still, and Obama is doing some really, really radical stuff right now that people aren't even aware of.
Radical
we're getting
or evil?
A federal entitlement to higher education. The government pays your college. That's going to be an entitlement under Obama. Most people don't even know that.
Let me ask you a question, man. Isn't a sad state of affairs of the country we live in, and that you report on, that I think yesterday or day before, we're starting to pull our troops out of Iraq. Large city by large city, we lose 6 soldiers in that day. But Billy Mays and Michael Jackson are the lead stories. Well,
I'll admit that I've been traveling nonstop for the past week. I've been in 6 different cities, so I've kind of missed some of this. But my gut reaction is, are we really celebrating Michael Jackson's life? This guy was a child molester.
Yeah, you know what?
Doesn't that matter?
Great point, Tucker, because CNN, I got to give Fox News and MSNBC credit. They are not wall-to-wall Jackson. They're talking about other things. CNN is wall-to-wall, marking out, putting over.
Yeah, the guy that gave $20-some million to a family so they didn't have to go to court for it.
I was never convicted, ever convicted.
Yeah, did I miss the memo where child molestation?
Wait, who was it? Who did that?
Manson.
That was so good. That was unbelievable.
I did like your bow tie, though, Tucker.
You liked his bow tie, Michael?
Oh,
It made me think he was almost a little boy.
Yeah.
I got a great picture of Tuck here. Somebody sent me.
Ew.
Yeah.
Old school picture of Tuck. He looks high out of his mind.
Yeah,
Look at that, Manson.
Tuck, now, Tuck, my last subject for you, Tuck. That's the governor of South Carolina, man. Don't you think, man? And I think that you said this last week, man. Shut the F up, and the more that's coming out of your mouth, the bigger buffoon you're looking.
Well, it just bothers me. As I told you, I like Sanford personally, and I have always thought his wife was just really cute and nice. But getting up there and talking about, I'm in office because God wants me to be, and comparing himself to King David and all this, it's like, be quiet. I don't want to hear about your stupid affairs, or your marital problems. Spare us. I don't know. These baby boomers imagine that everybody's interested in the details of their personal lives, and I'm just not. I think it's awful. Don't you think? I wish you'd just be quiet. Have some dignity, man. You're embarrassing your kids.
Plus, you could have got off scot-free because Michael Jackson consumed every ounce of press coverage, and he could have gone right under the radar.
It's like what happened on Condit.
Can you guys answer me this since I haven't been around? Is anybody saying this guy was a child molester?
No.
Only me.
No,
I got
on the news, no.
I got on the air, Tucker, and said, you know what? The day he died, I go, I'm glad he's died because for the things that he did, he deserves to die, and karma's a bitch. Somebody somewhere is keeping score. So this son of a bitch, you know what? The world's a better place now that Michael Jackson's dead.
Yeah, I certainly didn't, people die every day. We all die in the end.
Maybe
and
there's
Michael
a chance.
Jackson dying was less tragic than a lot of deaths. Come on.
Maybe there's a chance now that his kids will not be molested, Brent, and the kids in the neighborhood can finally go to Never Never Land and enjoy the rides, what they're supposed to be.
Right.
And not have to worry about, paying the VIG of what a Ferris wheel ride costs, and that is, a night of exploitation with Michael.
Yeah, the news is infuriating me. Because
I totally agree, but you haven't seen anybody on TV say that?
No.
Oh, man, we got songs for days. I'll let you listen to a little excerpt here. Hold, stand by.
We began with the shocking death tonight of Michael Jackson. The king of pop was rushed to the hospital about 3:30 this afternoon, our time. Jackson reportedly suffered a heart attack at his home and was pronounced dead just after 6 o'clock this evening at the hospital.
Had a pain in my heart. Someone please call 911. Cancel all my plans to touch young boys tomorrow.
Let the pastor what?
That's just so embarrassing.
Why did I have to die? I was so close to being white. By the way, is there a nose that I can borrow?
Manson, I got to tell you, man, I don't realize how talented you are. I'm kind of marking out to you right now. But my Lord, from the Billy Mays impersonation you did today to now this. Is this not dead on, Tucker?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Down to hell I'm going, and on hot coals I will be roasting. So pack my suitcase and cancel my MySpace. Goodbye world, cancel my tour dates. There'll be no more little boys for me to grope and masturbate. There's no more moonwalking in a hearse I soon will be riding. Now I no longer say Shema and hee.
Of course, Ned was one to weigh on the Michael Jackson deal as well. And Ned's not quite as polished as Manson.
Not at all. Michael Jackson popped pills and then his heart stopped. Now he's lying flat in his own pine box. Put him in the ground and throw some dirt on the top. The king of pop is in a box tonight. Put your top hat on and one white glove up in heaven. There's young boys to love. The king of pop is in the box tonight. You were a child toucher, so fuck you, Mike, the king of pop.
That is so great.
Now, if
Who wrote that?
That was Ned. Now, if we were in D.C., tell me all the cynical, overthinking mother effers that you guys, we would be killing it, would we not? Killing it.
That is excellent. You would be killing it. I agree with that. Why don't you, man, you got to get.
We are such the bad guys that I could find the largest rock / talk station in Washington, D.C. that's non-Clear Channel owned and tell them that I'll give the show for free, and they'd be like, no, man, not Bubba the Love Sponge. That guy is fine. No, not in Washington, D.C., not in where the